Part 1 of Who the Fuck Do I Live With? I have the craziest roommate story of all time. This story involves sinister lesbian undertones, a rug dealer, a delusional therapist, and a pathological liar slash narcissist that had been manipulating me and my other roommate for 5 years. So the story starts when I graduate college and I move to Austin, Texas with 2 girls. I'm just gonna call them crazy roommate and normal roommate so you get the idea. We live on a busy road, and one day me and normal roommate are home and crazy roommate's out of the house, and we see a dog get hit by a car, and it is gory, it's horrible, and we are fucked up about it sitting on the couch. Crazy roommate gets home and she almost seems mad or jealous that we experienced this tragedy without her. Fast forward a couple weeks and my normal roommate goes home for a month, so it's just me and Crazy in the apartment. And she's been acting crazy, living up to her name, okay? I hadn't clocked it yet, but she's having a manic episode. She's not sleeping. She's talking a million miles an hour. She's not really living in reality. She buys me a shirt with a dead cat on it that says "Better Off Dead." I'm like, that is seriously so strange. I'm starting to get weird vibes, so I go over to my friend's apartment. Well, I'm at my friend's apartment. She texts me and tells me she's been hanging out with her friend. We're just gonna call this girl friend number 1. This is crazy roommate's friend, is friend number 1. Her and friend number 1 were out and about, and they walk into the apartment and the windows are open and they hear a car crash outside, and they go and look, and a car has hit a man walking across the street and killed him. I text friend number 1 asking if she's all right because what they've seen is horrible. She informs me that none of this ever happened and she doesn't know what I'm talking about. So now I know that this car crash never happened, and I have to go home and face crazy roommate and think about what to say. I already know she's lying, so I walk into the apartment with my phone recording because I don't think anyone's about to believe me when this girl is about to tell me this story about this crash that never happened. So I sit down next to her and she tells me about this crash in excruciating, gory detail to the point where she is crying and shaking and she has goosebumps all over her body. I am so confused. I walk out of the apartment and I text the friend she said she was with. I text my neighbors and I check the police reports and I check with my building, and I know that she is lying to me and that this crash never happened. Okay, I don't want these to be too long, so in the next part, I call her mom and find out that this girl's been living a fake life and I don't know anything about her. Part 2 of Who the Fuck Do I Live With? So we left off me finding out that my roommate is lying to me about seeing a man get hit by a car in order to get me to come home and spend more time with her. So I wake up the next morning and my roommate is still saying things like, I know you saw a dog get hit by a car a couple weeks ago, but this was like a human being. I haven't slept at all. I keep dreaming of seeing this man in the street and all of this stuff. So I text friend number 1 and I'm like, something's wrong, we need to call this girl's mom. So I go over to friend number 1's house, and together we look at our texts from crazy roommate and figure out that she has not slept in 3 days. 3 days. She had been texting us separately at all hours of the night saying she wasn't sleeping, blah, blah, blah. So people will often ask me if I ever knew anything was wrong with this girl before any of this happened. And the answer is yes. This girl was always really neurotic, really emotionally unstable, but as long as I had known her and as long as my other roommate had known her, so 5 years, this girl's mom had been battling stage 4 terminal breast cancer. She had gotten a mastectomy, she had been in and out of treatment centers in Arizona, was going through chemotherapy, and this was something that my crazy roommate spoke about daily. She talked about it to her sorority of over 200 women. My normal roommate would go to church and pray with her. She would often cry about this. She would often ask us to stay home with her. This was something she talked about every day for 5 years. So when I call her mom on the phone, I tell her about the crash, that we're afraid that crazy roommate is having delusions or hallucinations and she hasn't slept and something is wrong. Her mom says to me, oh my God, what do you think is causing this? Like, has anything changed? What's going on? I say something along the lines of, I'm sure she worries about you and your health, and living away from Colorado, where we're all from, is probably really hard for her. Her mom says, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I'm like, you know, the cancer. And her mom's like, what do you mean? I've never had cancer. So now I know, not only is crazy roommate in the middle of some manic, delusional episode, but I know she's a pathological liar that's been manipulating me into thinking that her mom is dying for 5 years. So we left off with me finding out that my roommate has been lying to me and my other roommate for 5 years about her mom having terminal breast cancer while she's in the middle of an episode convinced that she saw a man get hit by a car. And I know that she's lying and none of this ever happened. And I have to go back to the apartment and talk to her. So I go back to the apartment and there are handwritten pages and pages sprawled all over the counter, and like 5 to 10 canvases with really whacked out weird paintings on them in the living room. So I managed to read some of the handwritten pages that are on the counter, and it's all about serial killers, controlling women, manipulating the human mind. Just like the sickest, weirdest shit you can think of is on these pages. Keep in mind that I think no one's gonna believe me about how insane this girl is acting, so I am pressing record on my phone and setting my phone between us while she's talking to me. And if you wanna know what anxiety is like, just secretly record a crazy person. I promise you, it is the freakiest thing you will ever experience in your life. She's saying things to me like she feels in a time warp or an energy warp. She's afraid of herself. She hasn't slept. She feels like she's running on fumes and she doesn't know what she's gonna do to herself. I've already called her mom at this point, so I think that her parents are gonna get on a flight and get to Austin to deal with their crazy ass daughter. They don't. So I'm sending her mom these recordings of her saying these things, being like, she's out of her mind. Will you please get to Austin and help me? Her parents are like, we're gonna contact her therapist so her therapist can advise us on what to do. This therapist is convinced that this girl is suffering from an eating disorder. Okay, I'm not one to tell people they're faking their disorders, but I've lived with this girl and known her, and she does not have an eating disorder. She is crazy. She definitely has some disorder, but they need to come up with a new DSM to diagnose this girl. Like, God knows what's going on. I'm like, okay, whatever, contact the therapist. Meanwhile, I'm starting to be afraid for my life. I have everything that could be used as a weapon hidden in my room. And this girl thinks that a thunderstorm outside is talking to her. I don't sleep for an entire night because I can hear her outside in the living room pacing around all night. So the next day I get up, I call her mom. I am bawling, crying so hard, saying, please, please, please come to Austin. I am so freaked out. Please come to Austin. I'm afraid she's gonna hurt herself. Please come to Austin. And her parents gaslight me and they're like, sweetie, we know you haven't slept too. Like, we're gonna try and figure out what to do. Meanwhile, crazy roommate invites the rug dealer over. So we left off with crazy roommate thinking a thunderstorm was talking to her, not sleeping for an entire night, and inviting a rug dealer over. Meanwhile, I am begging her parents for help, and I am telling them, you better not tell her that I've been in contact with you while I am alone with her, because I am afraid of her. And the second she finds out that I know that her whole life is a lie, and I'm the only one who knows, and I've contacted her parents, I am really afraid what she's gonna do to me or to herself. So all of a sudden she gets an email from her therapist asking her to sign a consent form so her parents can talk to her therapist. As expected, she freaks out. She goes into her room and I give the rug dealer the quickest rundown I possibly can on what's happening and tell him that he cannot leave and he needs to get ready to call 911. So her parents get on the phone with her and tell her everything that I explicitly asked them not to, and we hear her in her room screaming, I'm gonna myself. Screaming it. I'm like, perfect, exactly what I fucking knew was gonna happen if you guys told her this shit. So I tell Mr. Rug Dealer to go outside the apartment and literally wait with 911 on the phone. Finally, I talk crazy roommate down. I literally walk into her room and she's like rocking back and forth in the closet. She's like convinced fire alarms are going off when they're not. So Finally, we talk her down and we convince her to go get on a flight back to Colorado. Her parents, this is an ordeal that went on for 3 days, 4 days. Her parents never came. I had to physically walk her to her gate and put her on a flight back to Colorado. She leaves and my normal roommate comes home. And me and my normal roommate are sitting on the couch together and my normal roommate says, I have to ask you something. I'm like, ask me. She says, when we were in college, did you ever tell crazy roommate that you were in love with her? Bitch. So this is where I find out about the smear campaign this girl has been running behind my back about me for years. So we left off with me putting crazy roommate on a flight back to Colorado and me finding out from my normal roommate that she's been telling everyone for years, that everyone thought for years that I had a big old lesbian crush on this girl. So I'm like, call your friends right now and tell them that shit never happened, that that's not true. So she gets her friends on the phone and is like, she's a liar, none of this ever happened, blah, blah, blah. Her friends are like, there's some other things we've wanted to ask you about that crazy roommate said about you. I'm like, please ask me. They tell me that she's been telling everyone for years that I slept with my sister's boyfriend. My sister and her boyfriend have been together for almost a decade, and my sister is quite literally my best friend. And it's like ridiculous. And there's like hundreds of people at my school, at my college, that think I did this. And then she's been telling everybody, I guess when I would come hang out, like in a group setting, she would tell everyone that I was so socially anxious that like not to talk to me because it'll stress me out and all of this stuff. And then my normal roommate tells me that when I would be gone, when I would be out of the apartment, she would go sit in my room at my vanity and stare at herself in the mirror for hours. And she would go try on my clothes. And once we get her out of the house, we look in her room and she had stolen like 10 of my lip glosses, chapsticks, and lipsticks. What the fuck? My mind is like right now. Because not only has this girl been manipulating me into doing things for her because I thought her mom was dying, she also has been telling everyone what a horrible person I am with these made up stories behind my back that I didn't know about for years. So this is our first apartment out of college, so all our parents are guarantors on this lease. So we text crazy roommate's parents and we're like, we need you guys to sign on to break this lease. And they're like, we don't want to tell her that. Will you guys tell her that? And we're like, we're not telling her anything unless there is like an adult present because she's insane. And so they're like, will you guys get on a call with her and her therapist? And we say, yes, but we are not going to be the ones to break the news to her that we know she's been lying about her mom having cancer for 5 years. You guys have to do that. And so they agree, and we get on the call with her and her therapist. And her therapist says, do you guys think that you'll be able to get over this and be friends again? Me and my normal roommate are like, fuck no, baby. Like, fuck no. Fuck no. And my normal roommate says on the call, I won't ever be able to get over the fact that you've been lying to me about your mom having cancer for 5 years. Guess what crazy roommate's parents didn't tell her we knew? So she freaks the fuck out on this call, freaks out. She's crying, she's bawling, and her therapist says to us, I think all of us here can agree that crazy roommate never meant any harm by the things she lied about. She only wanted like attention. Mind you, this girl had told everyone that I slept with my sister's boyfriend for years. So we get off the call and her parents eventually text us and say, we bought her a flight to come back to Austin to live with you guys on this date. And it was like a week later. Me and normal roommate are like, there is not tomorrow, not next week, not in a decade. Is there any possible scenario where I'm in the room with this girl and it's a peaceful situation? Like my hate for this girl runs through my body. Like still to this day, this happened years ago. And if I saw her in public, it would not be peaceful. I would have something to say at the very least. So we left off with her parents trying to send her back to live with us. So eventually they agree to break the lease and ask us if we can go through and kind of get her stuff together. I'm like, for sure. I want to see what the fuck this girl has in her room. And I This is one of the most morally sketchy things I've ever done. I wanted to read her journal because I wanted to know if this girl seriously thought her mom had cancer or not. So I read her journal, which is like, don't ever read anyone's journal, but I did it. And it was fucking insane. Like, so much of it was about me, which really freaked me out, bad, based on everything I had just found out. And then, so her parents just eventually come, pick up all her stuff, tell us that all that happened was that her ADHD meds caused her to have a manic episode, and that's the only thing that's wrong with her. And then we just straight up never heard from her again. I've never seen her, never heard from her, nothing. So after that, I didn't sleep for like a month. I dropped like 15 pounds, and I thought everyone around me was lying to me about everything for like 2 years. Like 2 fucking years. And I feel like when you hear about narcissists or pathological liars, it's often framed in romantic relationships or parental relationships. I just feel like it's important to tell this story because you should not overlook weird red flags from your friends. Because there were some things that happened that if I took them seriously, I would have never been in this escalated situation. Like, don't ever overlook your friends lying, being sketchy, when they have that secret animosity towards you that you can clock. Those are all serious things that you should take seriously. Anyway, I hope she's doing better, not for her sake, but for everyone's around her's sake. And I haven't ever told this story because I don't want to like bring it back up for her. But at the end of the day, I do believe that like you own the horrible things that people do to you. Like, I own this story and I own this information, and I can choose to share it whenever. No hate or disrespect towards this person, because I can see how you would think that when I'm explaining this story with zero empathy. But let me explain why I have no empathy for my crazy roommate. First off, for years, I had covered this girl's schoolwork, cooked for her, cleaned for her, done everything for her because I legitimately thought her mom was dying. One time, on my birthday, we were in a hotel room throwing an after party, and a bunch of crazy shit went down, but the guy I was seeing was there, and while he was leaving, she chased him out into the hallway and made out with him. When I confronted her about this, it was, I blacked out, I'm drinking a lot. Guess what? Because her mom was dying. A couple weeks later, we have to go back to the same hotel this happened at, and I make a comment like, damn, at least we're not drinking. And she flips her shit on me. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're such a bitch. You're evil. Let it fucking go. My mom's dying. My mom has cancer. So like, the gaslighting was fucking crazy. And just like, you cannot understand finding out that this was not real when it had been going on for years. Like, years is such a long time. My normal roommate really wanted kids and would often talk about how much she wanted kids. And my crazy roommate came home from the doctor one day and told us that she found out that she can't have kids, and she was distraught about this. We find out later that this is not true from her parents, okay? But she did that so that my normal roommate couldn't speak about how much she wanted kids in the future anymore. I had a friend pass away in college, and she told everyone that while I was grieving my friend, she came over and I sat on the ground with her and told her that I was in love with her, that I had a huge crush on her. She hijacked my grief about my friend and told everyone the story to make it about herself. And then when we moved to Austin, I shared a bathroom with her, so all these people thought I was like some freaky pervert who wanted to share a bathroom with this girl that I was in love with. After this all happened, I was out with a bunch of people I went to college with who were my sister's age, so a couple years older, and a couple of the people started yelling at me, being like, we know what you did, you fucked your sister's boyfriend, you're scum, you're such a piece of shit. Like, I left crying because all these people thought this thing happened that never did because of this girl. She would often seek out people whose parents had actually gone through cancer for extra empathy. So while this girl is spreading these heinous lies about me, she's also exploiting my empathy to take care of her. And while she's in the middle of the manic episode, and I am finding out that I've been manipulated and lied to for years, guess who has to baby her and take care of her? I do. So while in those moments when I was the one checking to make sure she was breathing in the morning, I contacted her parents to get her help, and I went through her room to make sure she didn't have any weapons to hurt herself. I sat there for hours trying to talk her down. I did have empathy through this manic episode, but somebody suffering from mental health issues and them being a good person are two completely different things. And while I have empathy for the mental health issues she was suffering from, I do not have empathy for how horrible of a person she truly is. And I call her crazy, not because she had an episode, but because she was lying to everyone for literally years. And my last 2 points are that I made that video multiple parts so I could keep the story straight as I was telling it. And I probably will make a couple bucks off posting those videos. And you know what? I'll put them towards the fund of the fucking therapy I had to go to after this shit happened.
Hey guys, get ready with me to do my hair while I start a new series called Who the F Did I Live With? It's college edition, and the characters I'm going to be using as for code names is going to be Shrek edition. So let's get into it while I break down the characters for you. So the first character is me. I'm victim number 2, okay? The second character is Fiona, victim number 1. The villain or suspect is Shrek, okay? And then we have Gingerbread Man, which is more like a bystander, just got brought into it a little bit, but also kind of not a victim, but like bystander and on the victim side. So once upon a time, not long ago, Shrek and I and Fiona were a 3-person friend group in high school. Everything was fine, like no problems whatsoever. Okay, Shrek was normal. Okay, we're all girls in this story. So Shrek, Fiona, and I were all friends. We were like besties, a bestie group, right? They actually convinced me to go to the school that I'm going to. And because they had to convince me, I accepted my offer late. So I didn't get to room with them because they already picked their dorm and everything, so I didn't live with them. So freshman year, we go into freshman year, and everything's fine and dandy. And I'm so excited because Shrek and I have 2 classes together, so we see each other every day. We saw each other every day. Like, I was barely seeing Fiona, and Fiona and I are like this, but we never saw each other. Like, she was in her own world, doing her own thing, right? Because I saw Shrek every day, we had that every day, and Shrek, Fiona, and I did occasionally start going to parties, like, initial month of going to school. One weekend, Gingerbread Man, which also went to school with all of us, and we all went to prom together, so, like, it's not like none of us don't like each other, or so I thought, basically invited me to hang out with her, and I was like, oh, okay, bet, and I met other people, and blah, blah, blah. Everything's fine. That's when I feel like my college started, is when I started hanging out with Gingerbread Man. And so everything's fine and dandy, and I go to class the next day with Shrek. I come there a little late, and Shrek's already sitting down, and I sit down, and Shrek, basically I go to class, and I sit next to her, and she doesn't acknowledge me. It's like she didn't see me. And so I'm like, oh, she probably upset about something. Okay, when someone's sad, you just let them be. And so I let her be, didn't talk to her. Right after class, I texted her, I'm like, you seem a little sad, like, I don't know what's going on. Let me know if I did anything, or if you want to talk. And she replies very rudely, and I'll tell you why she was mad at me. She was mad because I hung out with Gingerbread Man while we all know each other, and I thought we were all friends, and I don't understand why I can't hang out with someone else outside you when I hang out with you every day, since we have classes every day together. She literally said, I just find it funny how you picked Gingerbread Man over me. Who am I picking? There's no one to be picked. What are you talking about? I don't get it. So she got mad about that. And when she's mad, she's very rude. So she was texting me very disrespectfully. I can't really remember word for word, but I just knew it was really disrespectful. But at the same time, I was like, I dismissed it because she was mad. So I was like, oh, she's just mad. Like, so she's just mad. Like, she can say whatever she wants to. She's just mad. So that was our first, like, real fight. And I was just like, huh? Blah, 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 blah. I don't even know how I even responded to that. I just knew I didn't do anything wrong, so I kind of didn't care, because what are you talking about? Are you okay? And that made me realize that she didn't have any other friends, because I was like, oh, you're mad that I'm hanging out with other people, but, like, if you had other friends, I don't see the problem. I just don't get it. Because whatever. That was the first like bad red flag on my side experience with Shrek. You guys begged for part 2 and I shall deliver. Enjoy. Back to Fiona. A couple months later, I think, not even, maybe the month after that argument, Shrek starts ranting to me about her roommate, Fiona. She was like she's just like weird, like she's trying to be me because like she had, and I said how, and she was like, oh, okay, they're both gym rats, and she had some snacks, and there's only so many good gym rat snacks. So she started saying that, oh, like she's having the same things as me, like I feel like she's like looking through my things, blah blah blah. And I was just like, so I'm sure she's not going through your stuff. Like, we literally all know each other, and you're gym rats, you're gonna have the same, like, there's only so many good products. And then she was like, it's not only that, like, I got a rug, then she got a bigger rug. I got a poster, and she got a bigger poster, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, I was, like, giving her the benefit of the doubt, because maybe she doesn't understand. I was, like, being optimistic. I was like, you guys are roommates. Maybe she's just trying to fit the vibe of the room. Like, yeah, so, like, I was like, girl, like, you guys are roommates. Isn't it not odd if you guys like have a similar vibe in the same room you're in? She just kept talking about her and saying like how she goes to the gym at a certain time because she said, I don't know, like to be around like the gym guys, and when she does her like leg days or whatever, she arches her butt out for them. Just like, what? It was already dumb in the first place, so anytime she was talking I was just like, yeah, because I didn't want to shut her down, and at the same time, like, I was like, she eventually did tell her, but like then she still was like mad at her, and I don't understand because they talked it out. So that was year 1, so our first year. I'll get into the year that just ended. Thanks for watching. So fast forward into next school year, which is the school year that just ended, so we're technically sophomores, right? And so as I said, I asked Shrek if things were going to be awkward in the house, right? And she was like, no, I just won't talk to her unless I need to. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. We're in the house, we move in, and they don't talk to each other, but I'm like, okay, cool, you don't have to talk to each other, right? But it got awkward because anytime I was downstairs with Fiona or Shrek individually, the other one, when they came, they didn't acknowledge, and I was like, awkward. Like, of course I did, but it was still awkward. Just like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how can you hold a grudge that long? I have 3 siblings, and holding a grudge is exhausting. I mean, like, Shrek always made it known around the house that she was mad. Like, I don't care. You're not gonna get what you want. I'm not gonna ask you if you're okay because I don't care. Period. We're living in our first apartment ever. La 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 la. Me and Shrek are cool. I started hanging out in her room, like watching stuff together, blah blah blah. And so I realized that I was barely like really interacting with Fiona. The main problem, because I'm friends with Shrek, I was still friends with Shrek at this moment, right? Because you just had your beef with Fiona, and it's a new year, you know what I mean? That had nothing to do with me, right? It's tailgate season, first semester's tailgate season, blah, 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 blah. Shrek was not even in town the day of tailgate, okay? Actually, let's get to it, because this was petty, and you know it's petty. Period. So Shrek, she invited me and Gingerbread Man, who lives at a different apartment. She invited us to her ride to the tailgate that we were going to. And I just I don't remember, but I didn't acknowledge it, or I just said, I'll let you know because I'm obviously doing this with a lot of people. Like, I just don't know, like, blah, blah. And so anyways, she wasn't in town by the time I was going to tailgate was starting. So I texted her, which I didn't have to do, and I was like, hey, I'll just see you there whenever you're there. Anyways, having a fine dandy time with Gingerbread Man and freaking Fiona, right? Okay, anyways, this is our new character, Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots is mutual friends with me and Gingerbread Man. So me, Gingerbread Man, Puss in Boots, and Fiona were at this tailgate, and we were having a blast. It's wrapping up. We're about to head to the game, right? Gingerbread Man and Fiona were already in line. I'm heading to the line to meet them with Puss in Boots, right? And I come across Shrek. I'm like, oh shit, like, okay, Shrek's here, like, oh, hey, like, you know, I live with you. I've been friends with you for years. She's with her sister. I'm like, hey. And I mean, the most straight RBF. As I see her and I pass her, I'm like, I yell her name, and she's just like, And I'm like, I didn't even clock it yet. So I'm stopping still I'm walking behind Puss in Boots to go say hi. Like, I just thought we're gonna talk, are we not? All right, what? And so as I walk behind Puss in Boots, mind you, tailgates are ending. So it's not loud anymore. These frats are packing up. So I'm going behind, and as I'm like parallel to Shrek and her sister, she keeps walking past. We're maybe a yard distance, and it's quiet. So I'm like yelling her name like 3 times, and she still walks past me and doesn't turn back. So then I'm like, oh, okay. So everyone just watched me get ignored. Like, it was the most embarrassing thing ever. And I'm like, what? Like, what? And Puss in Boots witnessed the whole thing. So I'm just heading back in the line to go to the stadium with Puss in Boots, and I tell Fiona, and Fiona gets livid, okay? So I tell Fiona, and Fiona's so mad, and we're all together right now, and she's in line being like, bro, you should have like just dropped her. Like, she's so rude to you, but like so mad to the point where if you were in line and you didn't know us, you would think she's crashing out on me. And I'm like, anyways, I'm like, I know, but I'm like always optimistic. Like, I always like to not believe it. So I told her, like, yeah, but like, I just don't know. Like, you really couldn't know. What if she didn't hear me? I know she heard me. I was literally this close from you. But I was just like, like, I'll drop her when like the next obvious thing happens. Like, it's concrete clear, And so the day goes on, and I was gonna talk to her about it because like you literally blatantly ignore me in front of people, and you saw me, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so her sister was still at our house, so I didn't want to like, cause a problem while you're out here with your sister, right? And so I was like, okay, whenever she's like by herself, I'll just ask her real quick. And our rooms are, if I open my door, her door is right there. So one day I hear her leaving. Right? I hear her leaving, and I'm like, okay, let me just ask her real quick, like, if she's okay, like, because that was weird. Like, literally weird. I didn't do anything to you, so I'm like, what's going on? And so she's clanking down the stairs, and she's like mid-stairs, and I'm up top, and I like say her name, and nothing. She's still walking. So then I hear her open the door. I'm like, oh no, like, your name, Shrek, right? I'm saying her name, Shrek. And she's at the door, and this is how she looked at me. Ready? What? That's exactly how she looked at me. And I was just like, are you okay? Like, is everything fine? Like, is something going on? Because like you ignored me at the tailgate, so like I don't know what's going on. Like, are you okay? Are you mad? Like, what's going on? And all she said was, I said hey. The same tone I just said. Like, so if someone has told me that I've looked at them in public and ignored them, and I was so shocked. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I didn't. Like, oh my gosh. Like, like, you're at least questioning it if you truly didn't mean to. And she didn't. She was just like, I said hey. Like, what? And I was like, so I still let it go, because it's like, okay, like, you obviously, like, and I was like, it's fine, whatever, like, rub it off, whatever. I just won't talk to you until you start a conversation with me, because obviously you're not telling me how you feel. Like, so if you really mess with me, then I'll know when you start talking to me again, right? Whenever we're around each other, I'm the one always saying hey, like, all that first, like, initiating. I was like, wow, like, what in the world? Like, you really, like, okay. Her and her sister were downstairs, right? And this is, like, me still waiting for her to, like, start a conversation with me, because I don't know if you're mad at me or not. And so I'm downstairs, and Fiona also comes downstairs, and we're all in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, Shrek and her sister starts, like, laughing, and I'm just, like, I literally almost said something funny, like, because it was, like, once we came in the kitchen, it was laughter, and I'm like, is something funny? I was at the sink, right? And, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, the tea that has not even been said yet, bro. Oh my gosh. Like, what if something's, like, what if it's something on your phone and now I look stupid? Like, I'm not gonna confront you. Like, what? I was like, right? Like, the whole, I said, hey, the attitude for what? 'Cause I'm telling you, before this, I didn't do it. Like, we were cool. Like, you literally just, she, like, invited to take me and Gingerbread Man. So, like, I literally didn't do anything in the span of her going out of town and coming back. You know what I mean? Like, that was, like, red flag number 2, because, like, now you're giving me attitude, right? Okay, so then I was like, let me wait for something obvious, right? So let me tell you the obvious thing that happened that made me just cut this girl off. So we live in a pretty ghetto apartment complex, okay? Like, walls are thin, okay? Anyways, like, so she would complain about everything. Like, me and Fiona, our schedules aligned, so we did everything at the same time together. So, like, we worked out, like, at 8, from 8 to closing at the rec. And when we come back around at, like, 11, we're having a normal conversation, and she'll text me from upstairs. She's upstairs. Bring your ass downstairs if you want to say something. But no, she didn't do that. She texted my digital device and was like, can you guys keep it quiet? Like, blah, blah, blah. We were talking regular conversation. So I kind of discarded because I was like, okay, now you're being funny. Like, you're being weird. But I still was like, okay, sorry. Like, I'm still validating you. Like, oh my gosh. Like, ugh. So basically, she was like always complaining about like noise when we were being casually like talking, and because our walls are thin, you're gonna hear us, like, you're gonna hear people in your house if you live with 4 freaking people. If you didn't want to hear it, use yourself to go get a single person apartment. Fiona meets her Prince Charming, and he comes over all the time. So Prince Charming is freaking like 6 foot something and just regularly loud. Like, him talking regularly is like 6-7 times what I'm speaking right now. Like, he came over one night and we were all just talking, like eating dinner together. We always had like dinner nights and all that. And she was like, she texted the group chat at first and she's like, can you guys keep it quiet? And then I literally naturally within a second of the notification picked up my phone to start typing to like, oh, sorry. And Fiona put my phone down and said, don't reply, she's not your mom. And I was like, oh, you're right. She's not. Come downstairs, you have an actual problem. Because not once did Shrek come downstairs. Not once did Shrek come face to face and say her issues out loud to us. Instead, Shrek always reported it to me to report to everyone else. Like, don't even piss me off. Don't piss me off. I'm not gonna lie, the only thing I did was foundation because I didn't bring any palettes. But, okay, continue the story. So no one responded to her from the group chat. And then she individually texted me being like, man, every effing night, like, this is some, like, she just kept saying, like, every effing night, like, you guys are not gonna answer me in the group chat, blah, 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 something like that. Basically reaching out to me, like, still. And you know what I did? I still responded and apologized on his behalf, on Fiona's boyfriend's behalf, that he was too loud for her. And all of a sudden, and I was like, he's not even trying, like, it's not on purpose, blah, blah, blah. She just said, whatever. So you hit my phone up, and now you're being rude to me? Oh, no. That's when I was like this. Yeah, my mom doesn't even talk to me like that, so you're gone. You're blocked. Who do you think you are? Oh my gosh, like, what? And, so then I was like, yeah, done. So I unadded her, unfollowed her. I don't know what else I did. I unfollowed her on any platform I followed her on. And I was just like, yeah, I'm done with you. Because you're not going to be rude to me. And, like, besides that, it was, like, our individual fights that we had before about her thinking I'm replacing her. She got mad at me for bailing on her, which it was kind of right. But, like, I still apologized. And, like, I was doing max credits and everything. And she didn't take that into regard. Whatever.